and welcome to the wonderful world of breaking even. We've got $250 plus $50 for every item as our costs. We get $75 every time we sell something. Let's get some equations. Alrighty, our first one we're looking at, it says cost C and number of items. So C, the cost, is our $250 that it costs us, plus $50 for every item X. Because in the question it is asking us to use C and X. 50 X's. Next one, using the income. So how much money we actually got coming in compared to the number of items. Our income is $75 for every item, so 75 X's. Two pretty easy equations. All we're going to do here is draw a graph. Now, as you guys know, my graphing skills on my iPad are a little bit special, so bear with me on those ones. My lines will be as straight as I can, and the problem you'll see here is the better you are at making your lines straight and making your scale right, the closer you actually get to an appropriate break even. We will be checking in question D for an algebraic solution, which will tell us whether or not we were right or wrong. To find our points, we're just going to work out a few different points for each of those equations. Quite literally, just sub in some numbers for X, see what happens. Alright, make sure that when you are putting the numbers along the X and Y axes, they are evenly spread apart. Again, scales are important, otherwise everything's going to be a little bit out of whack. Okay, I'm going 2 boxes for mine just because it'll be easier later. It'll come down to what numbers you need for your equations as to what you should do in your actual book. Don't do numbers just because I'm doing them here. You might find ones that are better for you or easier to draw, basically. Alright, our first equation we've got C equals 250 plus 50 X's. Let's put X as 0, C is 250. So when X is 0, C is 250 up the line. So I'm going to throw in 100, 200, 300, etc., etc. Our 250 is between the 2 and the 300. There's our first one. Let's throw another number in. I love linking to shapes. I'm going to jump a little bit further along just so that we can get a line up there a little bit faster. 5 times 50 is 250, 250 plus 250 is 500, so we're going to go all the way along to our 5 along the bottom and up to the 500 along the side. Find that point. Once we've got those, we should be able to create our straight line. It's kind of what happens when you join 2 lines. Isn't that pretty? You'll notice that my line's a little bit out from where it should be, so my answer is going to end up a little bit wonky already. This is again why writing it with a book, writing in a book, using a ruler, very important. I'd also suggest using pencil when drawing lines and graphs, just to make your life easier if you do need to fix something up. Our other equation, I equals 75 X's. When X is 0, I is 0, so we're straight down that bottom corner. Throw in any numbers. 2 lots of 75 is 150, so when we go to 2 across, we go 150 up. Chuck a dot in. I'm going to do a couple extra dots here just to try and make it a little bit closer to where it should be. Because I know, at this point, I'm already going to be a little bit off with my drawing. iPads are hard. This is why you guys write in books. 4 lots of 75 is 300. Go to our next dot. Six lots is 450. So for every 2 lots, I'm adding another 150, because for every 1 lot, it's 75. Calculators, again, are very useful things. Use them if you need them. And let's see if we can get a line going through, kind of. It's off where my dots are again. When it links to shape on the iPads, it just makes its own fun for where the lines are going to go. Theoretically, where those 2 lines have crossed should be our break-even point. So we find where they are, go straight down, and we're looking at somewhere between 9 and 10. 9, 10, so somewhere in between about 9.5. I'm going to suggest that that purple line should have been a little bit lower, so it probably is actually closer to the 10. And the way to find that out, if you haven't drawn well, and again, make sure you are actually trying to draw well. is to do it algebraically. We've done that multiple times. We are solving two sets of simultaneous equations. Let's chuck them in. The break-even point is where c equals I, so where 250 plus 50x equals 75x. And solve the equation. First thing we're going to do is chuck that 50x over to the other side, which means we're minusing it from both sides, giving us 250 equals 25x. And next up from there is dividing both sides by 25. And 25 goes into 250 10 times. I'm sure you all know. Again, calculators, if you're not sure, they're there, they're with you, they try and help. And we end up with x equals 10. So it's around about where I thought we should have been to begin with. Alright, question 7. We've got Laura with a nursery growing native plants. It costs her $4,000 every month on all of her bits and pieces. Plants cost $5 and she sells them for $17.50. First thing as always, we need to grab a couple of equations. It's given us again the cost and the number of plants. So we've got C and X, so our cost was our $4,000 plus the $5 for every plant. Giving us our first equation. And our other one is our income and the number of plants. Our income was, of course, $17.50 per plant, so $17.50 times X. Now, let's throw some numbers on there. We are looking at trying to break even with the $4,000 startup cost, so we are going to have to get some big numbers around. I'm going up by 50s down the bottom and maybe thousands up the sides, just to give us a chance of getting there. I will probably redo this graph after we get the right answer, just to show you how it actually does work if you graph it well. As before, we're just going to take that first equation, sub some numbers in. I like to start at our y-intercept, so throw in x is 0, which gives us the cost of $4,000. Even if we have no plans, it still costs us money. Welcome to business. Chuck that dot in for us. Now change up what our x is going to be. Let's put in x as 50, so 5 times 50, which is 250, end up with 4,250. Which you should already notice is going to be difficult for me to draw on this particular graph, because it's going to be between two different dots. Lines. Next put up, let's get our 100 going. 500 is 500, plus 4,000 is 4,500, which gets straight on that line above where the 100 is, between the 4 and the 5. Chuck him in. Let's jump straight up to our 200 maybe next, and get another dot. It's good to have more points. It does make sure that you don't just have weird anomalies, so it's less likely for you to just accidentally mess something up if you plot more of the points in. And if you're not sure, it's a good way of just keeping the lines on track. Alrighty, we've got our bits and pieces in. Alright, let's chuck a line in. And remember, this is our cost line. So to break even, we do need to get our income line to cross over that cost line. So doing the exact same thing, just with, of course, our other equation. So I equals 17.5 times x. Let's jump straight in and put in an x of 100, just because it's going to make it easy. Let's get rid of those decimal places. And we end up with our 1,750. Another one of those numbers that's not the best for our particular chosen scale in a graph. So when I redo this graph, I'm going to definitely do a more extended scale, give us better plots, basically. 200 times 1750 gives us our 35,000. Chuck that dot in too, and see how we go. Yeah, I've got enough dots to hopefully make a line. Kind of straightish, it's looking aroundish, but let's find out. Look where it hits, and it is ending up in front of where the 325 is, but it's not quite at the halfway mark between, so maybe 335 round about. Now, I'm exceptionally not confident with where my graph is for this one, so let's do some algebra, work out what our answer should look like, and then see if we can get a graph that is drawn a little bit better. Might have to start drawing our graphs on paper and change up how I'm doing the videos, because graphs are crazy. Throwing a question mark on there just because I don't trust my graphing skills at the moment. You'll notice they're a little bit iffy. So let's jump in. Cost equals income, so 4,000 plus 5x's equals 17.5x. First thing I'm going to do is get all the x's onto one side, so I'm going to take that 5x away from both sides. End up with 4,000 equals 12.5x. Yeah, now I'm going to have to do a little bit of division. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be throwing this one into a calculator just to be sure. Putting 4,000 over our 12.5, and we end up with an answer of 320. So our answer in our graph is a little bit off. Let's see if we can work out where we went wrong. Alright, here's one I prepared earlier. Ta-da! And you'll notice it actually is sitting at the 320 because I graphed it better. Ew.